I'm sure if you've been around for more than 30 seconds now, you know the housing market has severely changed. Well, stick around in today's video. We're going to see what those changes are, what you need to be doing, especially as a seller, to get your house sold in this day and age. In case we haven't met before, my name is Eric Hudson. I'm a real estate agent here in the Las Vegas area. And if you ever need anything, information is in the info tab, and you can call, text, or email me, and someone will get back to you. Please be careful leaving a comment below. We may not be able to see that because we don't always get notified when someone leaves a comment on our videos. You've seen it. Everything's gone topsy-turvy in the world, especially in real estate. And so far, it doesn't seem like the Fed and Jerome Powell have finished their job of destroying the economy. Let's be honest, it is their job to destroy the economy in the way they are, because one of their jobs is to control inflation. And as you notice, inflation is out of control. And the more politicians in this political season are running around screaming about inflation, the more they're going to raise interest rates. So stop listening to politicians screaming about stuff. And the more you scream about gas prices and stuff, the more those interest rates are going to go up. Now, what's going on right now? You notice that a lot of buyers who bought over the last few months, especially at the beginning of the year, are starting to have some severe buyer's remorse. Well, that's understandable. If you bought a house a few months ago and it's worth a lot less now, you may feel that way. But contrast that with maybe 10, 12 years ago, before we had the second drop off the cliff in 2012, when people bought houses and they went down even more than they went down now. Yet those same people are walking away with $400,000 in equity right now. Think long term as a buyer. As a seller, there isn't much I can tell you except for what you need to do to get your house sold in today's market, and to take everything into perspective. So I'm going to tell a few tales during this, then maybe you'll kind of understand it. It'll help you as both a buyer and a seller. Now, let's just get down to brass tacks. Buyers, they want a bargain. Sellers, a lot of you are still looking at what happened 6 months ago. But here's the reality. Nationwide, over 20% of the homes on the market had a price reduction over the last week. Here in Las Vegas, it's closer to a quarter. Houses are going to continue to decline. And a lot of these declines, especially price adjustments, are from sellers who wanted to do the let's try game. You know what? The let's try game only worked for a short period of time, and that was during the time when people were willing to pay you $50,000 over because they were moving from California. Guess what? Those people are gone. Even 6 months ago, hedge funds, they were paying full price for homes. You know what they're doing now? They're paying pennies on the dollar. Worse than before our current markup in housing. And most importantly, a lot of them are just plain backing out. I can't tell you the number of agents I talked to who are saying, the house is under contract and the hedge fund backed out at the last minute. Had that happen to me this year too. It's just happening. 23% here in Las Vegas, 23% of all houses that go into contract are now falling out of contract. So you get a house in the contract and you're going, woo, my house is under contract. Then a few weeks later, it's not. You got to start all over again. So these are some things we want to talk about today. One, to prevent that. Two, to believe it or not, get the most money possible. And three, to save your sanity. So let's go ahead and start off with the first thing you need to start looking at. First thing is you need to dig deeper into your listing when you put it out there. It's not just, oh, take a couple of pictures with your iPhone, put it in MLS and it'll sell. No. You are now competing. There are now 4 times as many homes on the market with 2/3 as many buyers as there were 6 months ago. That's called a recipe for disaster. You need to stand head and shoulders above your competition. First thing you need to do to stand head and shoulders above, present your house in a professional manner. You need to, before you start, go out, Get a cleaning service. It's about $300. You can probably go even cheaper. But I'm saying somebody who's good, $300. Get that house clean. Unless you want to do a little bit of sweat equity instead of pay equity, get it clean. Then make sure your real estate professional takes professional photos. iPhones are freaking awesome. They've dang near replaced DSLRs, almost to a point. When was the last time you saw a point and shoot camera? iPhones are great. Do you think your agent knows how to use one? Use it properly? Does he have the software, or she, to do HDR in that iPhone? Do they know what angles to hit? Those angles are important because time changes. And guess what? Buyers are expecting different things. Professional photographers know how to hit those angles. So make sure professional photography is being done. Not only do you have to get professional photography, you may have to go out there and get the drone photography, the drone video, professional video of your home done. Don't forget that 360 video, because guess what? Zillow, let's just be honest, Zillow is going to put the houses with the 360 photography that have been loaded into Zillow ahead of all the others. And you need a floor plan, because people want to see, how does my furniture fit? And speaking of people and how furniture fits, if you have a vacant house, you don't have to stage it, but you do have to virtually stage it. You need to have your agent go out and have that house virtually staged. It's going to cost about $30 to $50 a room, and do that. I don't know if you have to go as far as virtually staging on the 360, which, believe it or not, can be done. The technology is freaky now. They can do that. Make sure your house is properly presented. Next, you need to manage your expectations, especially about traffic. As a matter of fact, remember John Lovitz on Saturday Night Live? Lower your expectations. Lower your expectations. Don't expect 30 people to show up the first day. Don't expect 30 people to show up the first week. Don't expect 30 people to show up the first month. You hear I said month? Remember, 6 months ago, a half decent house sold in the first weekend. Expect your house to be on the market for a few months now. And if you did not price it properly to begin with, it's going to be there a few months. This thought pattern of, I love when I hear it, aka I hate when I hear it. You know what? Here's what I'm thinking. I want to price the house like this to take care of the lowball buyers. No one's going to give you a lowball offer if they don't come to see the house. Price is one of the main drivers of people coming to see your house. Remember that part when I said buyers are looking for a bargain? So the only thing that's selling right now are the prettiest homes and the cheapest homes. If your house is normal and it's not cheap, it's not going to sell. So as soon as you go, the way I see it, I guarantee you when you go look for a house, the way you see it is, I'm looking for the prettiest and the cheapest. That's what buyers for your home are doing. They're looking for the prettiest and the cheapest. You have to realize that buyer traffic is now the lowest that it's been in years. So you have to have every opportunity. Do not lower the chances for that buyer to see that home. I need 24 hours. I need 2 hours. I can't show before this time, after this time. These things are going to kill you, okay? You need to understand where buyers are coming from. If there are 4 times as many homes on the market, I don't want to wait for 6 hours. I don't want to wait 24 hours. I want to see a house now. Ask any realtor who will attest. It's the weekend. A client just calls up. Oh, I just found out I don't have to go into work. I want to go see houses. And you tell them, I can't. Maybe because you had a dance recital for your kid. Maybe because, I don't know, you're showing houses to other people. It is the weekend. And they just called up 5 minutes ago. And they'll say the same thing. Oh, okay. Then you found out Monday they have a new realtor. Yeah, that happens a lot. Well, the same thing happens with your house. Oh, I can't show the house for 24 hours. Oh, okay. They just went and saw 6 more houses that aren't yours. Make arrangements somehow. And those of you who don't want to put a lockbox on your house because you don't trust people, trust me at this. You're going to make less money. Just wanted to let you know how the world works. Next part, still on the same thing of managing expectations. I'm going to tell you something you don't want to hear. You ready for it? You got to keep your house clean. Excuses like, well, we have to live our life. That doesn't matter to your potential buyer. You know why? They're going to buy a house, and it can be yours or someone else's. You need to keep it in showroom condition. When you go into a store in the mall, is it topsy-turvy and we got to work here? No. They're ready from the time they open to the time they close. You need to be prepared to have someone come into your house at any moment and be ready to sell. Next issue, don't drag your feet. A lot of times you want to drag your feet, and I got 2 good tales to tell you that just happened in the last couple of months. I had one buyer where we put in like 4 offers on homes. First one, they dragged their feet. One, oh, I'm going to wait until the weekend's over. Another one where the agent was running around wanting to vet the heck out of the clients to be 100% sure they're going to close. Remember, 23% don't close. Another one wanted to wait 2 weeks to just call back 2 days later going, oh, is your offer still good? It's like, no, they found another house. Then the agent kept calling me for like a whole week going, are they still going through the other house? I'm like, yeah, they're going through. You know what's the difference? The last person didn't dilly-dally. I love that term, dilly-dally. When I was stationed at my first duty station, the OG secretary used that. One of my enlisted men one day, he comes back and she's like, Donna said something about dilly-dally. That's an aside. So anyway, don't drag your feet. Also be careful with your counters. Had another one that just closed a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, and we were putting in offers. I'm telling you, the buyers now, they're not playing around. When they're giving you an offer, a lot of times that offer is their offer. The first 3 came back with counter offers. They're like, okay, on to the next. The 4th one didn't. Guess what? I closed a week and a half ago. Matter of fact, I had one. This isn't it's not a dilly-dally question. It's just that this is how folks are now, especially buyers. I had a buyer close about 2 weeks ago. Individual put in an offer. Well, we didn't put in an offer yet. We discussed it, wrote up the offer, sent it to them. They go, you know what? I want to offer less. I'm like, okay. Wrote up the offer, sent it back to them. I want to offer less. Wrote up the offer, sent it to them. I'm thinking about it. I want to offer less. Wrote up the offer, sent it to them. I want closing costs now. Didn't even need the closing cost. Wrote it up with the lowest possible price with the closing costs. I want more closing costs now. This is where you're at, sellers. This is where the buyers' minds are. They're out for revenge. And you know the reason they're out for revenge? Interest rates. They just hit 7%. That hurts. They haven't doubled. For some people, they've tripled. The lowest I've put somebody in a house during our little pandemic was 2.25%. Guess what? 7% is more than 2.25%. They tripled for some people. Tripled. That is easily be $1,000 a month in a home payment. That's one of the reasons they're vicious. They don't have the money to give to you. Tell me this. Riddle me this, Batman. Where are you going to get an extra $1,000 from tomorrow? And where do you expect someone else to get it? So, also, control your negotiations. This is the next point. This is not 6 months ago. 6 months ago, the buyers were waiving everything. I won't do an inspection. I'll waive appraisal, blah, blah, blah. Guess what? All that is not only back on the table, it's 100% on the table. And when they find something wrong with that house, be expected to fix it. Be expected to fix it. Because they're going to expect it fixed because guess what? The guy down the street is going to fix it. This is not the market from 6 months ago. You're not going to be able to ask this astronomical price, expect somebody from California to pay you $50,000 over. It's just where we are now, okay? You need to stay ahead of the market. This, I want to start at this price and see how it works for a few weeks. That, believe it or not, is fine. Because right now the average house is on the market approaching 2 months. 2 weeks at a certain price, yeah, whatever. But if someone has not bid at that price, if someone has not bid at the terms that you've put out there, you need to lower that price. And I don't mean milking it down. I don't mean going like, well, I got the house for $450. Okay, let's try $445. No, you need to go $440 or $435. This is just being honest. Because every time you lower the price of that house and you're milking it down, one, you're chasing the market, and two, the buyers, they have your information. They know it's been there for a couple of months. That's when the bargain hunters, the vultures come out. Don't be in a situation where vultures are coming out. Don't do the, I'm not just ready to lower my house price just now. You know, I got a kind of, I mean, it's half personal. Is the house kind of across the street from me, a little cat or corner? I'm looking this way. It's like right there. So long story short, they put it on the market with actually an agent I know. I'm not bitter. I don't even know the people. I'm just saying I'm not bitter. So without getting too deep into their business, they listed it under what the last house of that home, that style sold for. Okay, cool. I thought it was going to sell quick. Well, it didn't. I think there are some other reasons it didn't sell, and it wasn't condition of the house, but I may get into that in a second. I'm looking over here because I'm putting it in my mind. So they lowered the price of the house twice. First time it was a decent one. Second time was only like $1,000 to kind of pop it up in the MLS thing. Then after 6 weeks, they took it off the market. So here's where the funny part is. If they had lowered it even more and sold it, they would have been mad because they didn't sell it for what the last house sold for. But they would have sold for what 3 houses ago sold for and put $400,000 in their pocket. I'm talking in their pocket, net. Think about what your bottom line is. Look at where you are. Don't look at what your neighbor Fred sold their house for, okay? Keep that in check because now interest rates have gone up twice since they pulled that house off the market, and prices are starting to kind of slide a little bit, not much, a little bit. And in this price range, there are very few people who can afford it. In all honesty, that house, if someone were to buy it and put 5% down, the payments would be $56. I looked it up at 7%, $5,600 a month. I have a question for you. How many people who are looking at this video or that you know have $5,600 to pay for a house? I'm telling you right now, I'm raising my hand. I ain't got that kind of money. I'm lucky. I bought, near the bottom of the market. So I'm one of them lucky ones. I feel very good about that. I feel very good about my low house payment and my low interest rate. Someone buying that house, they getting ripped off. Not because there's something wrong with the house, but because these interest rates and everything else. Housing prices are still high. You may be walking away with $400,000, but you're shuffling your feet, you're kicking rocks because you're not getting what Fred got. Who cares about Fred? You better get out of here if you needed to sell. I'm not going to sell now. I'm only going to make $400,000 instead of $500,000. Okay, whatever. Be like I see these folks on those TV shows saying, bye, boy. Okay. And finally, let's just be respectful of everyone. Sellers, the buyers, I'm going to be very honest, don't care that your house was worth 482 6 months ago and it's worth 450 now. In reality, I'm looking at the numbers. We've dropped another 3,000, so 447. The prices have dropped from 450 to 447 now. I mean, it's a slight drop, but hey, it is the way it is. So here's what's going to happen. You are going to get a lowball offer. A lot of people are offering those lowball offers right now, and don't worry about it. It's probing. Come on, how many times you've seen that? Well, do you think they'll take this amount for it? I can remember back when the average price of a house was like $235,000. I'd have people going, you think they'll take 200? Well, can't you negotiate that down to 200? Well, equate that in today's dollars, that's like trying to negotiate down like 80 grand. But they'd go like, hey, let's go ahead and just write it up, see what happens. They're probing. Don't worry about it. Don't get mad. Don't worry about it. Just counter offer, negotiate. If it doesn't work, guess what? There's the next guy. They're just probing, okay? The next one, the issue is the interest rates. It's the interest rates. It's the interest rates. Come on now. Average house is going up $1,000 in just interest rates. That means you have a smaller pool of people to work with. So houses, of course, are going to spend more time on the market. Just be prepared for that. Also, go ahead and alleviate that issue. Say that you're going to pay the closing cost. You don't have to pay full closing costs because let me tell you, a lot of banks, not a lot, some, many, I don't know, I haven't done a good number on it. They charge what's called origination fees. Well, that origination fee can be 1% of the price that they're actually taking a loan out for. They're taking out a loan for $450, hypothetically. Can be a $4,500 closing cost. $4,500. Well, guess what? You can say, I'm paying your closing costs if you use my lender. Pre-negotiate with the lender. You don't have to pay that ridiculous $4,500. So you don't have to worry about that for closing costs. Some lenders will offer other incentives because they want to get their money on the back end. Guess what? You can do that. You can. If you are paying the closing cost, you can dictate a bank. Guess what? When you go to a new home build and they're saying we're offering you this interest rate and we're paying your closing cost and all this other stuff, how did they do that? Oh, yeah, because you're using their bank. I had a buyer one time. It was so funny. They're talking about, I feel like I'm being rushed into a corner. I don't want to. I want to be able to choose my own lender. I'm like, we can choose your own lender. By the way, you're not going to get the closing cost. Well, I need the closing cost. Then you have to use their lender. Well, I don't want to be forced to use their lender. I mean, it was like circular logic for like 30 minutes. Person just kept doing that. I want to be able to choose my own lender. You can choose your own lender. Well, I still need the closing cost. They're only going to give you the closing cost if you use their lender. Well, I want to be able to choose my own lender. I was like, oh. If you're paying the closing cost, you can choose the lender, aka you, the seller, and you can pre-negotiate things with the lender. There are lenders who will work with you. Trust me. Big thing is just look at that bottom line, what you're walking away with. Take a little bit of the emotion out of it, because if you don't, you're going to lose even more. Interest rates, they may actually go up. I saw somebody, I don't know. I don't think anybody knows what's going on anymore. It says interest rates may hit 8%. Who knows? But no matter what anybody is saying, no matter what economists, housing expect to be flat for the next year, nationwide. It could, of course, in pockets still go up and down. If it's flat and interest rates go up to 8% or past 8%, it's going to be even harder for that person to buy that house. Don't get mad because you're only going to make $400,000 instead of $500,000. You've made $400,000. You can make it up on the back end when you buy a house. Think about that. And also think about, if you're looking down and you see the subscribe button is still red, go ahead and do me that favor. Hit it, make it gray. Hit that thumbs up button, because I keep saying it. That's the way the YouTube algorithm works. I'm going to get this out to more people. And if you need to talk to me, information's in the info tab. Call, text, or email. Someone will get back to you. Be careful about leaving comments about help that you need below, because we don't always see those. YouTube doesn't send us an email if you left a comment. And most importantly, if you want to just make sure that you're catching me at a good time, there is a calendar link below, so you can get on my calendar and we can talk.